What's going on, Drinking Buddies? Brand new podcast coming right at you. But you know what we got to do first. We got to talk about those things that generate a little revenue for the show. Put some coins in my pocket. All that fun stuff. Help, pay for the liquor and the production costs. First and foremost, we are brought to you by the Patreon at patreon.com/MattSlayer. Home to the uncensored video versions. Home to the entire video back catalog. The ad-free audio versions. Just to help support the show. You can join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. As you can tell, that we're getting more and more ads, so if you want to hear this ad-free, go right to the Patreon. We are also brought to you this week by our friends at Manscaped. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and it is a game changer. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, a pair of performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. Since I got my Manscaped care package, I have been using the Crop Preserver, and boy, does it work. I also used the Weed Whacker, deal with my gross nose hairs. And the lawnmower has been doing a good job of keeping the voice clean. All in all, I am super happy that we are sponsored by Manscaped. And if you want to be clean and fresh down there, just like me, go ahead to manscaped.com and use promo code ANWD for free shipping and 20% off your order. That's right. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code ANWD. We are also brought to you this week by our friends at Milcarb. Does your business or place of employment serve beverages? Milcarb manufactures the equipment that is the engine behind many beverage systems. From nitrogen generators to dispense nitro and cold brew coffee, to gas blenders to dispense multiple styles of craft beer. They even offer food-grade air systems to help reduce up to 40% of the CO2 usage in restaurants and bars. With over 5 decades in the industry, Milcarb products are the most trusted equipment for any beverage system. Check them out today at www.milcarb.com or on Twitter and Instagram at MillerCarbonic. And when you hit them up, let them know that you heard about them on And Now We Drink. And finally, the easiest way to support this podcast. The free way to support this podcast is twofold. One, share social media posts. Just tell people about the show. Just signal boost the show. The second, go to youtube.com/andnowwedrink and subscribe. Feed the algorithm. 2 very easy ways to support the show. Appreciate the hell out of you, for Drinking Buddies. My guest this week, making her triumphant return to the podcast. You know her, you love her, Miss Leana Lovings. It is always a blast to sit down with Leanna. During the course of this podcast, we came to the realization that, by the numbers, over half the U.S. population has viewed Leanna's content, which is crazy. Imagine 1 out of every 2 people you encounter in the U.S., and by the numbers, 1 of them has viewed Leanna's content. In typical fashion, the show goes all over the place. So, sit back, relax, pop a cold one, and enjoy this episode with Leana Lovings.
When aliens come to take over, they look at us like we're out of our minds now. We're gonna galactic makeover, and now we're thinking that they just might be right. I cannot wait for this whole world to end. I'm gonna break out the bottle with my friends. I think they'll tell the best stories when we're gone. And now we drink.
What's going on? Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
I think you possibly are directly responsible for this, the YouTube version of this being monetized at this point.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I had no idea when we did this a year ago how many people would be coming to my YouTube channel because of your appearance. It's
Wow.
insane. It's utterly just every day. It's like, oh, one of the top episodes. And now we drink. And then one of your clips from that episode is also one of the top videos.
That's amazing.
It's like your fan base. Very, 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 very devoted.
Yes, I have a very dedicated fan base, and I'm just really happy about them.
They're very, very happy about you. I actually wanted to look at some of the comment section while I had you on.
Oh, yeah.
it's wild to me. It's absolutely wild that some of these people don't understand how the internet works. Like, they're nice people, and they're mostly saying nothing but lovely things about you. But some of them are directed right at you. I don't think you're going to the comment section to look at their comments. But we're going to change that today.
Okay, I'm happy to participate in this.
So let's go to the comment section. But as we're doing that, what's going on with you? What have you been up to for the last year?
Oh gosh, I've been busy, shooting and sleeping and then going back to shooting again, pretty much.
Well, I'm glad you're getting some sleep in there.
Yes, occasionally. I feel like it's very important to take care of my body, so I at least, get that in. But I'm pretty much constantly working, and it means that there's a lot of content out there from my fans, which is great. And I'm learning a lot about my sexuality.
What have you learned? What's new? What have you discovered in the last year?
I have discovered how to be better at sex. I had very limited sexual experiences before I got into porn, so I feel like my body's finally understanding, oh, this is how I move now. This is how I can transition into a more comfortable position. And it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. I think that knowing in sexual experience just how to work with your partner and how to feel comfortable with each other's bodies, especially each body is its own different mechanism of pleasure. It's so difficult to just get right, but it's so fun and rewarding when you do get it right.
Have you got a chance to explore any of that off camera in your own personal life?
No, everything that I do is strictly on camera because I just feel like it's safer that way, and I'm very professional about all of my experiences, and I feel like my fans deserve to continue with me on that journey, so, they get every ounce of my intimacy.
That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Do you ever want that, off-camera human connection?
The best way that I see it is that off-camera human connection for me is being able to talk to someone, being able to go to the library or take a walk and look at the trees, the way that the light filters through the leaves above. That's connection to me. I don't think that I could ever have the courage to experience things sexually outside of work. I'm just so shy. I don't know. When I'm in porn mode, it's like I'm Batman and I can be anyone and I can be anything. But that's that level of safety and experimentation for me that I would never be able to go out of my shell otherwise.
But you could be Bruce Wayne off camera. You'd be billionaire playboy Leana Lovings.
I don't think I could be a very good Bruce Wayne at all.
I don't think Bruce Wayne's very good at being Bruce Wayne. Like, every Batman comics is like, really, you're kind of phoning this part of your life in, man. You're a billionaire with a corporation. Do you ever show up? Like,
yeah, right? How does this company work? Because he definitely does not spend much time focusing on those decisions.
Could you imagine Bruce Wayne showing up for the 8 a.m. Monday morning meeting? Like, Bruce, you're covered in bruises. You're exhausted. Like, just bags under his eyes. Like,
yeah, he had no sleep. He was fighting the Joker till 4 a.m. Finally got him apprehended and then put his suit on. It's like, I've really got to work on my aftershave game, but these bruises are really stopping me from doing that.
You still got some of the like Batman makeup on. Like, Bruce, where were you last night?
Partying, obviously.
I was at a rave. This is what all the kids do, right?
You know how I got these scars?
What?
Mosh pits.
And if you imagine, like, when he's off doing stuff with the Justice League, that he's gone for weeks at a time. Like,
yes. It's like, oh, yes, the CEO of the company's just gone every week, all the time, 24/7, but we're doing fine.
Yeah, imagine Elon Musk is just, like, gone from Tesla headquarters for weeks at a time. The stock price would just brr.
Yeah, it would plummet. Everyone would be like, where's Elon? He's not sleeping on the floor of his factory.
Right? He's not carrying sinks into Twitter.
Exactly.
How does Wayne Enterprises stay afloat? How does this work? That's the biggest suspension of disbelief in all of Batman comics.
Yeah, he's got to have some kind of doppelganger doing all of his work for him. You know what? Alfred does it.
Well,
Alfred does all his taxes.
I'm sure.
Does all of his business management. There we go.
Which is a horrible plan. Alfred's an old man. Like, if this was in the real world, Alfred's gonna die at some point, and then what do you do then, Bruce?
There is actually an alternate universe in the comic series where Alfred is mourning Batman's death and all of the villains are sitting there mourning him, and then Alfred reveals that he was the Joker all along and that he had hired all of these people to satiate the vindictive desires of a rich billionaire playboy.
Talk about being a spoiled brat. Like,
I know, right?
so maybe you don't want to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, no, perhaps not. I'd far prefer to be Catwoman.
I think that's a better role for you.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if the life of crime suits you, though.
Oh, no. I mean, I have 2 cats, though. So, I'm halfway to being Catwoman.
Is that new? I don't think you had the cats last year.
I had 1 cat named Artemis, and I recently adopted another cat. He is 1 year old now. His name is Ozzy.
After the Prince of Darkness, or just Ozzy?
It's actually named after the plant osmanthus, which is also known as devilwood.
So you're getting some poison ivy mix in there as well.
Yeah. You know it.
Awesome. I've pulled up the comment section if you want to dive into...
Yes, absolutely. I also have the comment section pulled up now.
Let's see where to start. Are there any that could particularly catch your eye?
Aww. Looking at her, you would never in a million years guess that she's in the door in the adult industry. Such a beautiful hot body, and her cuteness is off the charts. Thank you so much!
I'd hate to break it to him. You're a little bit more than in the door.
Unfortunately, now I am.
Unfortunately?
Very fortunate.
I don't think that's unfortunate at all. You kind of kicked down the door, like sprinted down the hallway.
Hurtled through it, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no foot in it. It's just, it's already like closing behind you, and it's like, I'm here. I'm Leana Lovings. I am here. I have arrived. Some of these are wild, though. Like, one of them, there's a whole thread where I end up responding to someone.
Oh, really?
Yep. It's from a month ago, if you're looking at them by newest first.
Oh, gosh, I was looking at top comments. Okay, newest thread. Oh, wow. 11 replies. Okay. Dark Life says, please leave adult industry, dear girl. You deserve better than this. Come on. Why this industry? Why in this trash industry? I hope I could have done something for you. Oh. Well, that's a very sweet sentiment, but in the end, this is absolutely an adult industry that I deliberately planned and chose to be in, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
I even said as much.
Yes, I definitely saw that. Thank you for supporting me.
Of course. Of course. Like, it's wild to me that I know these people feel like they're intimate with you, and it comes across in your performances, but it's like, at the end of the day, who are they to think that they know you so well that they should be making important life choices for you?
Yeah. It's, a lot of people believe that they can take my choices from me, or that I deserve to be in something that they consider better. But for me, what is better is that I'm not in educational debt. And I am flourishing not only in exploring my sexuality and finding my personal freedoms and my way to connect to people in a way that I've never done before. I'm also financially independent at 25, and that is something that I feel extremely proud of. And I'm making so many friends. I'm learning so much in terms of all of the directors, all of my fellow performers. It's just so diverse, and I would not have it any other way.
Right? And you get to walk red carpets and go to fancy events. And
yes, I went to the AVNs recently, and I did just that.
This was your first actual AVN, right?
Yes, I was at the AVNs before as a cam girl, and in January earlier, I was there as a mainstream performer. I was also there as a core model representing Chatterbait, which was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. How was the experience versus this time versus going as just a cam model?
It was so drastically different. There were so many more fans, so many more opportunities to take pictures. And I had only really been just starting my career when AVN had started right before COVID. At that point, I was still building my fan base, and I still am now, but now, just this year, I've had people that would walk up to me and say, "Hey, I was there watching you when you first started, and you've changed my life, or you've been there with me through my darkest days." And I definitely did not have the opportunity to hear those things from my fans before. It was so impactful.
That's awesome. Like, so it was just a whole weekend of people coming up to you and like, Leanna, you changed my life. You changed my life.
There's a lot of that. There was a lot of, I would cam with some of the other girls. I worked with Mary Moody, who was an amazing performer. And I was there with the representatives of Chatterbait, basically streaming nonstop. I would go from 11 a.m. to about 5 to 6 p.m. And I would interact with all of my fans, do signatures, stream, and then it would be going to dinner or having breakfast with the crew. It was just so busy. And in between all of that, I was also hosting the white party at the AVNs, which was fantastic. Having a part in all of the organization of the event was so lovely.
That's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Did you have fun though? Did you actually get to have some fun?
Yes, of course. Meeting my fans was the most fun, and going to all of those lovely restaurants and having some of the best food that I've ever eaten was definitely part of the experience. And at the very end, I stayed an extra day and I went to the spa. And I think I sat on a heated reclining chair and I immediately fell asleep for an hour and a half.
So you got to get that sleep in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was getting tons of sleep, but I guess my body decided that I needed a little bit more.
It's like, perfect relaxation.
Yes.
What restaurants did you get to hit? I'm always curious, like, where people go, because Vegas has such a great restaurant scene.
Of course. So one of the restaurants that I immediately remember, the first restaurant that I went on part of my tour, was Steak. It was STK, which was a famous steakhouse. It was absolutely amazing. I had the Australian style Wagyu beef, and it was marinated in such a way that I ordered it medium rare. And I savored every single bite. It was amazing. And Chatterbait's celebratory dinner, where we all ate at Tao, was unforgettable. We had bamboo shoot dumplings, and for dessert, there was a gigantic fortune cookie that you had to smash open. And
like, how big? How big of a fortune?
It was like this big.
Wow.
The size of a football. It was gigantic.
Is the fortune that big too?
Everyone had their own personal fortunes placed before them on a plate.
Okay.
My fortune was that they could see a future of me soon dancing naked.
I think that's your past and present and future. Like,
Yes, I believe so. My very soon future.
right? Though it would be really comical if they had an appropriate sized fortune printed inside the giant fortune cookie, just like a big banner you pulled out.
Right. Instead, there was chocolate mousse on the inside.
Ooh.
And 3 different flavored ice cream mochi. And then a cube of chocolate with a chocolate lava cake on the inside.
I'm very happy I ate right before this podcast.
I'm
That
so
sound-
sorry.
No, I ate. I'm good. If I hadn't, I'd be like, oh, starving. That sounds amazing.
I'm very good at accidentally giving random descriptions of food and then making everyone around me hungry. I'm known to do that on my live streams too. It just kind of happens spontaneously.
It's a good, skill to have. Food is supposed to be one of the great joys in life, and being able to recall it and describe it's a good thing.
Yes.
Especially if you're doing it to a degree where like everyone's just salivating a little, like, oh man, that sounds amazing.
Sorry, everybody who's listening to this before they've eaten.
I'll put a disclaimer in the intro, like, please eat before this podcast.
There we go. Now we're protected.
Right. No spoilers, but please eat before you come into the show this week. Where else did you go?
Oh gosh, I don't remember all the others. There were just so many restaurants. I know that it was 5 days, so there were definitely 3 other restaurants that we ate at. But yes, it was just so delightful.
Any restaurants you were like, oh, I wanted to hit and didn't get a chance to?
Not at the moment. No, I can't think of any at the top of my head.
There's so much good food in Vegas. Like,
Yes.
when I lived there, it was just like, the only reason to go down to the Strip is like, oh, for restaurant week. Because otherwise, forget going anywhere near the Strip. No fun. I know when you did the show last year, you were in the middle of getting a new place down in Florida. You all moved in and settled in?
Yes, I am. I'm absolutely cozy there.
Still no plans to move to the West Coast?
I've definitely been getting a lot of pressure to move to the West Coast, and it has almost been convincing. My lease is ending soon, and I remember thinking to myself, oh man, I know everyone's saying that I should move to LA so that I'd be more available, but also I'm very cozy in Florida, and the beaches there are just warmer, I'm sorry to say, California.
Oh, yeah. No, our beaches are for hanging out and surfing. Like, the Pacific's cold.
Yes.
I mean, you could always just, be bi-coastal and have 2 places.
That's true, but oh goodness, that would cost so much.
Well, folks, you just have to make it rain on her more. Help her afford the second apartment.
And then I'll be able to take my cats everywhere.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Your cats get to be bi-coastal, and then you don't have to stay in model houses or Airbnbs when you come into town.
Oh, that's true.
But then again, like, are you enjoying are you staying at the model houses when you're in?
Yes, honestly, I really love staying at the model houses because I get to bond with some of the other girls. I get to meet other performers in the industry that are part of my agency. It's a really great experience because you're not alone when you're traveling into another place. You're not alienated. It's a comforting atmosphere where you're just with the other girls having dinner after our shoots. There's a long day where you just get to relate to everyone that's been on set doing the same exact stuff that you've been doing, just in a different place, probably with other people that you've also performed with.
It's like, oh, hey, Eskimo sister, how's it going? Do you guys ever compare notes and be like, oh, I'm sure there's a little bit of note comparison about people you've worked with?
Oh, yes, of course. I know that when we have a particular performer that we enjoy working with, we're like, oh my gosh, like Brad Newman was amazing. We always have great times when we're working with him, and it's just, we share notes about our great experiences, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that like the last year has been nothing but like highs for you. That you've just been killing it. Like, it's
Thank you.
watching it from the sidelines. It's just like, wow. Just
I still can't believe it. I'm still in denial. I don't
Why?
feel like any of it's deserved. It's just very sudden. I didn't expect all of this growth in a year and a half, and I'm so grateful and I'm so humbled. I never thought going into the porn industry that I would end up with like 160 million views. As soon as the article came out that I hit 150 million, it was already 160. And that's just amazing. And I'm still blown away by everyone and their support. And it brings me to tears every time I think about it.
that's crazy. Like, that is half the U.S. population that has watched you have sex.
That has masturbated to me, and that feels very weird.
Weird in a good way, or
Yes, very weird in a very good way. Probably because I think, my mind abstracts things in such a strange way that I imagine, how much cum would that be? And then I try to think, would it fill a football field?
well, I mean, it probably ooze out into the sides. You gotta look in swimming.
Yeah.
You gotta look in swimming pool volumes.
swimming pool volumes, that would be much better. And also it'd be pretty gross imagining all of that cum like sticking between all of the football field bleachers.
Someone would have a bad day working concessions.
Yeah.
Hot dog. Oh.
Bad cleanup day.
But then again, you could fit, well, hell, you couldn't fit all your fan base into a football field to watch you if you were doing a live show at that.
That's even crazier.
Because that's literally half the U.S. population. That's wild. That's
Yeah. Putting it into perspective, I'm mind blown.
that means every person in the state of California, and like, let's see, what the population of California is like 20 million.
Mm.
So you got California. I gotta look at what the population, like the entirety of like California, New York, Illinois, Florida, I think fits into that 160 number.
Jeez.
So you could literally be like, go to Publix and be like, everyone here is masturbated to me. Everyone.
Oh no, I don't think I can picture that. Because you know who goes to grocery stores? Little old ladies.
Hey, they gotta get off too.
That's true.
There's no discrimination for the upper edge of age. We only discriminate against the lower. We don't want the lower end.
Of course, never.
Exactly. But the upper end, as long as grandma's willing to diddle, she can go.
Yes.
Hey, those old ladies may be able to teach you something about what they did back in their day.
You know, when I worked in a retirement home, because that was the thing that I did like partial residency in a nursing home while I was getting my certified nursing assistant certification. They had special rooms for elderly people to have sex in. Yeah, they had special rooms, and elderly people have a lot of sex, a lot more than you would expect.
Not really. Is Viagra's a thing, and all you have to do is hang out with these people all day. What else are you going to do? Watch The Price is Right?
I don't know if we spoke about this before, but The Villages is a city in Florida where it's just retired people. I believe you have to be 60 to 65 to retire and move there. And it is actually one of the STD capitals of the US. They have disco sex clubs there, which is absolutely wild.
Well, at this point, you figure people in their 60s and 70s were fucking hippies.
Exactly.
Pre-love generation. So they're like, wife's dead, might as well get it in. Damn boomers, they get to retire and have disco sex parties. We're never going to get to retire.
No! What's up with that?
I guess we'll have to have those disco sex parties before we retire.
Exactly.
Except you'll have to have a camera involved, apparently.
Yes. Exactly. You know, that's doing the Lord's work.
Right? Have you ever thought about, if you ever decide to take a step back from this to go back into nursing? Or?
I wouldn't go back into nursing, but I would probably go into sex therapy. I feel like, I could use my sexual experiences for good and help people receive advice on their sexual interactions with their partner, how to be honest with each other about intimacy, and how to achieve peak physical trust and intimate honesty with one another.
So how would a session with Leana Lovings go? Like, walk me through a session. Like, I'm a new client, so how does it go?
Okay. Well, I would sit down and I would say, so tell me about what you would like to talk about. Tell me about your interests and tell me about why you're here to see me today. And then I'd say, okay, well, if it's about your sexual interests, what does interest you? And are you scared to talk to your partner about that? Because it's entirely okay. And we're going to go through several exercises now that go over situations where you could bring up your sexual interests to your partner.
What happens if you're one of their sexual interests?
Oh my goodness. That would just be embarrassing.
Well, I mean, statistically, if they're in the U.S., 1 out of every 2 people is masturbated to you, so...
This is true.
So statistically...
That's true. In that case, if they were just a fan, I suppose it would just be, there's always got to be some kind of barrier between the therapist and their patient. So if there was a conflict of interest, I'd refer them to someone else. But I'd say thank you so much for thinking of me that way.
You just don't have many clients. Like, I keep finding clients that jerk off to me. What the hell? What do I do? My practice is going nowhere.
Definitely going to be people like, oh man, I've jerked off to you all the time. But I'd also be like, hey, why are you here? What do you want to talk about? And, people can still have a professional atmosphere where it's okay to discuss those things.
Well, definitely. I just think it was a comical presence.
Absolutely.
Premise. I've drank a little. I can use words.
Yes.
Leanna put me to task to make an old fashioned. I tried to do it, made it a little too strong for her.
It is quite strong.
Normally, I just pour whiskey on ice. I am not so great with the cocktails sometimes.
That's perfectly okay. Oh goodness, I just slurred my words a little bit.
Oh my god, these things happen on this show. They happen on occasion. There have definitely been some podcasts where the next morning, like, did I save that? Fuck. Fuck. Drank a little too much on the show last night.
Oh, gosh darn it.
So what else have you been doing with yourself besides sleeping and making the pornos and being fucking famous?
I'm still not fucking famous. I'm not going to say that.
I did.
It's a lot of Pornhub views, but you know what? That doesn't count. I'm still new. And I still don't know how to have good enough sex yet.
Well,
but besides that, I've been working on 3D digital rendering and digital illustration as a form of mixed media. In cooperation with that, I work on surrealist portraits. It's just kind of my hobby. And I play video games.
so what sort of surreal, like, tell me about surrealist portraits, because I know nothing about that.
Surrealism is adding a sense of fiction to everyday life, adding something that would be out of place in the normal world that we live in. So when I make a portrait, I want to express that person's personality or something that they're experiencing or feeling in a supernatural way. And so I'll add visual distortions, I'll add very unique colors and shapes around them that illustrate what I want to express.
Very cool.
I am talking very fluently for someone who is also quite buzzed.
Already? Jeez. Maybe I did pour that a little too heavy.
Oh, goodness. Well, that's just me. I'm a lightweight.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you can nurse that the whole show if you want. No one's forcing you to drink any more than you want to. So,
Of course.
well, that's awesome. So, are you doing like portrait photography, or are you drawing people by hand? Like, how are these portraits?
I draw by hand, but lately I've been 3D modeling different faces and experimenting. I actually started that 2 days ago. And then I paint over them in Illustrator.
Oh, very cool. So, like, when you're doing the 3D model, are people actually sitting for you, or are you just like doing it from your mind's eye?
I do it from my mind's eye.
Very cool. Who's anyone in particular been some of your subject matter, or have been all abstract people?
They've mostly been all abstract people. I would recall the name, but I believe I am slightly too inebriated to remember who I exactly drew.
Okay. I have to follow up with you on that another date when you're.
Yes, of course. I'm so bad at remembering names.
Is it someone you've had sex with?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh,
Yeah.
but you plan to.
Yes. I do.
So it's talent.
Yes. She is very adorable.
But you don't remember her name.
No.
You're like a horny dude. You're like that hot chick. I want to bang her.
I remember her name because I check her profile all of the time and I follow her regularly. And yet at the moment the name escapes me just because I can't think of people's names at the moment.
Do you want to go to your search history real quick? Be like, is it the top hit?
Oh, I suppose I can. I know her name's Lana. I know it's Lana. Let me find her.
Yeah, we're just trying to make a love connection here for you. Feel free to shout her out.
Oh no. Never mind, I can't find her still.
Aw.
Darn it. She is quite adorable, though. I can guarantee it.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt.
Yes, unfortunately, I cannot find her, but I wish
Aw.
that. Oh, it's Lana B. That is her Twitter tag, ITSLANABEE. That's It's Lana B, and she's very adorable. Here, I'll show you a picture of her.
Does she know that you've made art of her?
Oh yes, she does. I showed her a picture of the art that I made of her.
Oh, she's a very cute e-girl. Like,
Yes, exactly. She's very cute.
is that your type these days? With cute e-girls?
Sexy e-girls, yes.
Nice.
Of course, I absolutely love guys and girls. I'm just naturally bisexual.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it all in.
When it comes to girls, though, I do have very particular interests, and it has to be very feminine girls. And gamer nerds, usually. But it depends. I have a preference for just creative and fun girls.
Everyone should.
Absolutely.
Like, who wants to date the boring hot girl? Like,
Exactly.
it's cool, you know, she looks good on the red carpet with me, but like the minute we're going to do anything, it's like, this
You
is
know
painful.
what, though? I have to say, having been in the porn industry, there is never a boring hot girl in the industry. I will say that quite confidently.
I will disagree with you. I will disagree with you on that.
Oh no!
I'm not here to like drop shade on anyone, but there are definitely some people in the industry that like their number one selling point is because they're hot.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. But there's always something going on in their lives. Every person has their own individual story, and that's what I love focusing on.
Oh, they definitely do. But sometimes that story is boring. I'm just saying, like,
I say we should agree to disagree.
oh, wholeheartedly. I'm not here to sell you on the, oh no, there are horrible people that are just hot in this industry. I'm just saying there are some people in this industry that I would happily have sexual intercourse with, but I don't really want to have a conversation with. Like,
Oh no!
shortly after orgasm, I'd be out. Like, and then, you know, shortly after orgasm, they would deny it happened and be like, why did I fuck that guy? Oh, that was a mistake.
Oh no! Oh goodness.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
But speaking of the e-girl stuff, like, what have you been playing lately?
League of Legends, Valorant, Genshin Impact, Sims, and let's see. Outside of Sims, I believe I have also been playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Where are you finding time to have sex? That's a lot of gaming.
The majority of my time is sex, and then in between, right before bed, I very thoroughly manage my time. So it's either drawing or games or socializing and handling work, and then I just go to bed.
That's a whole like. I'm a Twitch streamer and I don't play nearly that many games.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't play them all at once. It's more like I have phases that I go through. My ADHD nature just kind of gravitates to one, and then I obsess over it for a little bit, and then I hop on to the next one. For like 5 days, I played Valorant, and I was very excited. I was like, wow, I can play Valorant without having to go through 16 rounds. Because in the very beginning, in the beta for Valorant, you would play like a minimum of 8 games, a maximum of 16 games. And it would take a very long while to get through if one match each time takes a very long while. So when I discovered that they had very short 3-round like match systems, I was just so excited. I immediately hopped on, and then I immediately forgot about it.
You're like, I'm going to go to Riot Games' other property, back to League of Legends.
Yeah, back to League of Legends Wild Rift. I've been very much enjoying that, like I usually do, and then I get tired of it and I hop on to Sims. I have about 3,000 mods right now on my Sims 4. And
That's wild.
yes, I have Wicked Whims, which means that there's a lot of porn in my Sims where they get naked and have sex. And there are strip clubs in my Sims games. And yeah, you know what? I keep myself very distracted.
You're off being a voyeur on The Sims.
Yes, sometimes. I'm such a weird nerd. But you know what? Sometimes you just find yourself very mischievous and curious, and you decide that you're going to make this dramatic backstory, and then you're going to make your Sims have sex.
Have you ever thought about translating all that into, more directing and behind the camera stuff for yourself? Like, this is just all practice for.
I've never thought about it from the Sims angle, but I've definitely thought of storylines that could work out as a director. But I think that after enough scenes, that's what you go towards.
Definitely, if you're passionate about the craft.
Yes.
But you could direct a Sims porn parody.
You know what? I think there are enough of those on Pornhub. People record their Sims 4 games and then upload them to Pornhub.
But I'm saying you could, digitally impose, the green gem above people and, use real people.
Oh, I see what you mean now. That would be very funny.
Right? You could do it as a setup, start off with you, sitting in front of your computer and then transition into the game world. There you go. It could be your directorial debut.
There you go.
Just take some of the Sims play you've already done and then just turn it right into a movie. I bet it would be a hit on the hub.
Oh, I'm sure it would be.
Another 100 million hits. We're going for worldwide population by the end of 2023.
There we go. You know what? I would genuinely believe that as a possibility.
Does anyone have 1 billion views?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure I've seen at least a girl have 1.1 billion.
Okay, Pornhub, you're not helping at all. The search for billion views porn videos.
Ah, there we go. Lana Rhodes has 1.5 billion views, and Abella Danger has 1.6 billion.
Well, good on Abella. Not so much on Lana these days since she's been publicly talking about she didn't enjoy her time in the industry.
Oh, gosh darn it. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
Alex Adams has 2.2 billion views, and I can confidently say that Alex Adams is wonderful. I've worked with him before, and I know that 2.2 billion views is after Pornhub removed a bunch of his videos.
What'd they remove his videos for?
Oh, well, there was a gigantic content culling on Pornhub a couple years ago. And so there were a bunch of tags that got removed for credit card security reasons.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't stuff that he had necessarily uploaded himself. It was stuff that he was just tagged in.
Well, it was definitely stuff that he uploaded, but just stuff that the credit card companies decided to attack more than before.
Damn credit card companies.
Yeah, it happens. Regulation's a pretty serious issue within the porn industry, and sometimes it's good, but a lot of the times it's bad.
Yeah, on paper, MasterCard's requirements that almost had OnlyFans dump everybody were pretty good. It's oh, hey, we want 2257 paperwork from everybody. We want, age verification and all that shit. That's all good things. But the fact that oh, you can't diddle yourself with food now.
Yeah, or you can't diddle yourself at all and express your naked body because that is too revealing. That's just we should be able to have the ability to express ourselves sexually. It's the oldest job in history. And you know what? That's what I have to say about it. It's been long-standing, and sexual expression, as much as people like to share traditional values, sexuality has been in our history since the very beginning.
We all got here through it.
Exactly.
Every one of our parents had sex.
Exactly. And
unprotected sex at that.
We're still more reserved than our ancestors were. Our predecessors in Greece and Rome would have regular sex party holidays. And, you don't see that nowadays. But
Yeah, because they didn't have Netflix. Netflix is just, ending that shit. Like, I say we get rid of all the streaming services and people will go back to having more sex parties.
I learned something when I was learning Latin a couple years ago. The previous version of Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day was created by the Catholic Church in honor of Saint Valentine. But before that, it apparently replaced a holiday known as Lupercalia. And Lupercalia was a form of a traditional holiday where people would put their names in a bowl. It was like a house key in the bowl system, and they would pull the name out, and then that would be your partner for the month.
For the month?
Yep.
That's a lot of commitment for a holiday.
Oh, yeah. And also, women would line up to get whipped by goat skin for fertility purposes. They believed that it would make them fertile and more sexually free.
I believe the latter part of that.
Yeah. So, it's wild stuff.
See, we should bring a lot of that shit back.
Honestly, yeah. I think the Lupercalia system's pretty cool.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure people want to be stuck with someone for a month. Like, could you imagine, like, it's not even speed dating. It's pull a name and you're stuck with this person for a month.
Yeah, pretty much.
That could be really bad. Could you imagine being stuck with a partner for a month and it's like, oh, this person doesn't get me off at all?
Oh, yeah. You know what? People lived a lot shorter lives back then. I think that excuses it.
Also, people didn't care as much about women getting off in those days.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, for the dudes, that's awesome. Like, oh, I get this hot Roman chick for a month? Yeah. We're going to bang it out until our genitals are raw. Probably make her clean my bathroom, too. Perfect. These days, that shit would not fly.
Yeah, that's true. And
it's just like, oh, hey, we're sexually incompatible? Fuck, now we got a long month ahead of us.
Yeah, when the Catholic Church took over and created Valentine's Day, they didn't like obviously the sex lottery system. So instead, this is actually the origin of people putting hearts on their sleeves. Instead, they would be their Valentine, and they would put a heart with the name of the person on their sleeve, and they would recite sonnets and poems to them regularly. And that was their tradition instead of, ritual sex.
I don't know. Ritual sex sounds a lot more fun.
I know. We should bring back ritual sex.
I agree. I think you are in a position to be at the forefront of that movement, Leana Lovings. You should be just encouraging it. You should use your platform to encourage bringing back ritual sex.
There we go.
Like,
excuse me, I laughed way too hard.
She'd be like, half of the U.S. population that has jerked off to me, we are going to start ritual sex back up on Valentine's Day. It's right around the corner.
Exactly.
So I think you should start your campaign now, and maybe in 2 weeks, when Valentine's Day actually comes, we can get the 2023. COVID's died down enough that it's safe-ish to be back in human contact with people.
Exactly.
So why not do it at an orgy or some other form of ritual sex?
The origin of gingerbread men was actually sexual. So the origin was, I forget if this is Greek or Roman, by the way, but for Saturnalia, that was the predecessor to Christmas. Saturnalia, people would have these gigantic sex orgy parties. And they would bake a cookie in the shape of the person that they wanted to have sex with. And that was gingerbread cookies. And so now, everyone's like, oh, gingerbread men, they're so cute. But little do they know, they were previously sexual symbols.
I'm sure for some people they still are. Not here to kink shame.
I feel bad for the gingerbread man.
I know, he's got no penis.
I know.
And they really frown when you make them anatomically correct. People just don't approve.
I know. It's disappointing.
Maybe Maybe as part of your campaign, we can bring back anatomically correct gingerbread men and women.
Yes.
Because what's the point of having a gingerbread man with a cock if it's got no place to go?
Exactly. Also, gingerbread people with gigantic tits. That's gotta be a thing.
Should be. I mean, it's more gingerbread to go around.
Icing boobs. Yes. I think it would add an appropriate amount of icing when you're eating the cookie. It's just, it's for tactical purposes, of course.
I'm just in favor of all boobs having more icing on them. Like, who could be opposed to that unless you're, like, diabetic? I think that's the only people...
Oh, God, yeah, don't eat gingerbread cookies if you're diabetic.
Yes, don't lick icing boobs if you're diabetic. But if for everyone else, icing on boobs. You have to use your platform for good, Leanna. You have to make this shit happen.
Yes.
How are you going to start? How are you going to start in this campaign?
Right here.
All right. Talk to the people. Tell them what they need to do.
I think we've said it pretty efficiently, Bring back sexually oriented gingerbread cookies and bring back lubricalia. There we go.
So you need to host a lubricalia party.
Oh my goodness, no, I could never host a party.
Why not?
You've seen me. I'm like a nerd in her little hobbit hole. I can't host a party.
You hosted the white party.
Yes, but that was organized by AVN. I just hosted it,
So what you're saying is we behind the scenes have to do all the organization, but you'll host it.
There we go. Yeah.
We'll put you on the banner. I think a lot more people are going to show for Leana Lovings' lubricalia than Matt Slayer's lubricalia. Judging by the numbers, I don't think I have a fraction of the people that have masturbated to me than you do. Like,
oh my goodness.
My Pornhub ratings in the 6 or 7 digits. So
you've just got to show more feet.
As I said on Twitter earlier this week, I got ugly feet. People haven't learned that you don't reply all when I'm on the string, because I will reply. Some guy responded to Lumi Ray, a picture I took of her, and did a reply all, and like, do you do foot job sessions in LA? And I'm like, sorry, bro. No, I don't. And by the way, my feet are ugly. Apparently he blocked me right as I made that response.
That is hilarious.
Don't reply all me. I will respond. I will respond like it's for me. Someone I did it earlier today. Some guy's like, at Sophia Locke. Yeah, said, "Oh, you're adorable," and I responded with like, "Thanks, man. That really made my day. I'm sure you're swell too." If you want to say something to a performer who's been on this show, unclick reply all. Otherwise, I will respond to you.
Now you know.
I'm surprised they didn't know already. I've been doing it for years. Because I don't know if anyone else finds any entertainment from it, but I do.
Of course. Messing around with other people's always fun.
Oh, yeah, especially when they write really thirsty shit sometimes.
Oh, my goodness.
And a lot of times, they're not confident enough in their sexuality to get that response from a dude. Because whenever it's something sexual, I take it like it's for me. And then, say something like, "Oh, that's really flattering. Thank you. I've been going to the gym," or something. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, I didn't,
Well, there's a lot of, cultural stigma around that, there's actually a meme that's pretty popular that I find really amusing that fits with that. It's, 2 guys sitting in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Oh, yeah, no. As a younger man, like, you'd go to the movies with your buddies and, like, you had to keep an empty seat in between you guys.
Exactly, and of course, I recently read a Reddit post talking about urinal etiquette, and apparently guys have urinal etiquette where you don't want to immediately, if it's like 8 stalls, 8 urinals, and one guy chooses the middle one, you don't immediately walk next to him to pee in the urinal next to him. That's apparently gay. So you go into the urinal farthest from him for like politeness.
I mean, I definitely do that, but it's not out of a homophobic or like gay thing. It's just like, it's polite, man. And often in male bathrooms, there's no divider between the urinals. Like, You're pulling out your dick and pissing. Do you really want someone standing next to you unless they have to be?
That's fair.
I'm not worried about like the dude looking over and looking at my dick or anything like that. I'm not going to look at his dick. I'm probably going to be staring at my phone while I piss. But it's just polite to not like, crowd someone's space unless you have to.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that more guys. Sorry, this is another sort of railroad away in a way.
Oh, no tangents on the show? Never, never.
I don't mean to go on a tangent, but there's another thing that guys feel afraid of doing, and I think that guys should feel more confident doing it, and it's wearing the color pink. There are a lot of guys that are not confident enough to wear the color pink, and I think that they should be. It does not immediately feminize them, and I actually find it more manly for a guy to walk out wearing pink because it shows me that he's confident in himself.
I never really thought about it. I don't think I've ever worn pink in my life.
It's a weird thing to think about, isn't it?
Yeah. It's weird.
Guys just don't wear pink.
Well, it's weird that like we've, as a society, as a species, have like designated some colors to be this or that. It's a-okay to wear red, and pink is just a shade of red.
Exactly. And you know what? There's even something as typical as the pink tax, where objects that are labeled for women are exactly the same, but they cost a little bit more and they're pink. Yeah, it's strange.
Well, it's strange that y'all just don't buy some men's razors at that point.
Exactly. I buy men's razors.
What brand are you using?
Bic.
Just like disposable Bics?
I've definitely used those before. I also use Gillette. But disposable Bics are better for when I'm traveling.
Don't want to lose the Mach 3?
Basically.
This would be a great time to insert my ad for my new sponsor, but I'm not going to.
Who's your new sponsor?
Well, we are being brought to you by Manscaped, which I'm sure if you've made it to this far in the show, you've already heard the actual ad.
That's so cool.
They reached out to me and I'm like, yeah, I believe in men's grooming products.
I'm so happy for you. That is amazing.
It'll be more amazing when I sell some of them and make some money.
That's true too. It's always really cool being able to collaborate with companies on different projects though. I've been given like a variety of sex toys, and you know what? I always pick the ones that I feel represent me the most. Things that I feel like I would use.
What are your favorites?
So Tantally is a sex store that that gave me they gave me a sex torso. They gave me a male and a female version, and they want me to advertise both. But I definitely use the male version in my videos for POV style intimate sessions without the use of a male performer. And I also just really like using it.
Have you ever made your two torsos hump?
Oh my god, no, I haven't, but I should. It's just they weigh so much. One's like 50 pounds, the other's 75, and I'm just so small, I can't lift them on my...
You gotta get a PA to help you out with that.
Yeah.
Got the two, you might as well...
I know, I've definitely groped the female torso's boobs, though, and I just jiggle them around and I like play with the nipples. It's just fun. It's like a gigantic 50-pound fidget toy.
It's amazing how much those fucking things weigh.
Exactly. But really, if I had a girl's boobs always at my disposal, I would be,
you do.
Consensually groping them all the time. Also, when a girl loses something in the house, we immediately grab our boobs as if we're trying to find those, or we need the comfort of knowing that we have these on our chests the entire time while we're looking for the object we lost. But
I thought it was just because you guys store stuff in your bra.
No, my boobs are too small to store anything in a bra, but I still do it on instinct. It's so strange. But yeah, even though I have my boobs constantly at disposal and I do grab them if I've lost something, it's not the same as having like some girls' double D cups in your face as a pillow. I could never do that with my boobs. They're just not large enough.
I'm assuming you don't want to make any modifications to your boobs.
No, I don't intend to make any modifications to my body.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I just, I like being all natural. And if I would put any tattoos on myself, they would always be temporary. I'm just so fickle. I know that after 3 days, I would hate what it looks like on me and I would want to scrub it off and change it. So, the temporary tattoos just work best.
Well, and that's good that like you're not succumbing to any pressures that like the industry doesn't put overt pressure on people to make changes to their body, but there's subtle like subconscious pressures where because there's constantly people getting work done, and there's constantly newer performers that have work done, and then now with the AI trend and every one of those AI generated performers like look like they've had a ton of work done.
You know what, though? I think that it's a mixture between human figures and hentai fetishism. That's really what it is, because a lot of the AI art has the boobs spilling over these tight triangular bikinis the exact way that hentai boobs would interact with fabric. They've just added human skin onto it. And people find that very appealing because it's hyper realistic. It brings them a little bit closer, but it's never going to fully replace porn, because the way that I see it, professional porn has never, in the history of porn, replaced amateur porn. There's an atmosphere surrounding the naked body, genuine nudity, genuine intimacy and connection that could never be replaced by AI. And they make pretty pictures, they might make pretty videos in the future, but it's never going to be the same. And there's always going to be a client base where human interaction is their level of attraction. At the same time, I feel like, AI has its own place in the porn industry and it could be extremely profitable. Good for them. There's always room in the porn industry.
Yeah. And it's going to sell, and there is always room because if you're innovative and doing actual art, people will gravitate towards you. At the end of the day, I feel a lot of people gravitate towards you because of who you are, not necessarily just because of what you look like.
Thank you.
Unless AI gets much more advanced, which I'm sure it will at some point, it's never going to be able to replicate, your personality, your shy demeanor of like, oh, I could never host that party. I'm just such a nerd. Like,
that's true. The way that I see it as the potential for that, though, I mean, they do have those digital streamers, right? So they could hire someone as a voice actor or someone that's interacting as an actual person for the AI system. So that's always a possibility, but even then, it's still never going to replace the genuine person, because people are going to want a symbol of someone physical that's a representation of someone they could actually meet in the real world.
And apparently, judging by the comment section, try to save.
Yes, apparently a lot of people think that they have to save me. And I'm sorry that you think that way, but I want you to let you know that I'm perfectly happy where I am.
Right. Spill more loads.
Exactly. Please spill more loads.
And that's probably what gets us demonetized.
Oh no! Gosh!
No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to cut that. I don't care. Like your last appearance is on limited monetization. I'm A-okay with it.
Oh my goodness, I feel so bad.
It's the nature of the show. I never thought YouTube was going to monetize me in the first place, so.
That's true. That's true.
Previously, they were like, no, fuck no. Fuck you, no. So the fact that they let me have a little bit of monetization, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Never feel the need to censor yourself on here. Like, feel free to tell them all to spill all the loads for the audio audience. 2 big thumbs up.
Yes.
Please spill those loads.
Yes.
Probably doesn't help coming from me saying this. Unless that's your thing. Could be. I talked about this with some other guests recently. I had some guy slide into my DMs asking me to make content for him, make a custom for him.
Oh wow! You know what? There's a percentage everywhere.
But it was a weird custom. He's just like, oh, I want to see you suck on some tits. I'm like, whose? He's like, I don't care. I'm like, all right. Do you look like me, dude? Like, is that why you want this? Like, all right. I'm probably not doing it, but
Yeah. You know, there's a specific desire within everyone. You know, I had a request. I don't know if I may have mentioned this before, but there was someone who requested for me to do a custom video where I vacuumed up all of my underwear and then I threw them away in a trash bin. And he wanted to see as verification that I did throw the panties out into the trash and was never going to retrieve them.
I hope you charged him a lot for that.
Oh, I did. I charged him per panty, but he was very willing to do so, and he didn't want any sexual interaction. And that was very unique, but you know, it shows you just how diverse people's sexual interests and their fetishes are. It's really everywhere.
Well, yeah, everyone got here for a reason. We're in this weird golden age where it's like, oh, these things that 20 years ago you may not have been able to satisfy.
Exactly.
Now, everyone at bare minimum has a smartphone and could film whatever little weird sexual desire. I don't mean to call it weird, but some of it's weird.
I'm proud of what's weird. You know, it should be something that we all bear as a token of our sexual confidence.
Beautiful way to say it.
Thank you.
As long as no one's getting hurt, do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
And if they're consensually being hurt, that's fine too. As long
Yeah.
as long as they're able to
Yeah.
consent.
We're all for BDSM here.
Right? Right? Speaking of which, have you been to any parties, dungeons, or anything in the last year? I know.
No, I have not.
Why not?
I don't really go to sex parties or BDSM parties. I have definitely been to dungeons in the past, but you know, I'm so busy doing my tours and stuff like that that it's very difficult to sort of find time. But in general, you know, I'm always just going to be a bookworm at heart. And what I love the most right now is wrapping up in my blankets and being cozy and listening to music and drawing.
Hey, once again, do what makes you happy. What have you been listening to, by the way?
Oh gosh, my favorite artist right now is S.G. Lewis. I love his music. It's retro and yet so modern. It has a lovely modern twist to his music.
What kind of music is it?
Do you know Tame Impala?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. It's just very like 70s, 80s style music.
Like glam, new wave, like heavy on the synths.
Yeah, heavy on the synths. It's not retro wave, but you know, sometimes maybe saxophone, maybe yeah, it's you know, it's interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you discover?
I just really have a taste for old style music. I grew up on Sting. I grew up on Seal and Enya, and you know that was the music that my mom listened to, and that's the music that I just sort of fell in love with. And I started listening to the Midnight several years ago when they came out with an album, and I fell in love with their retro saxophone music, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing, and that I needed to hear more of it. And in my search for modern music that emulated tunes of the past, I discovered an entire different avenue that I hadn't expected.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Get a chance to go to any shows in your free time?
No, I've definitely wanted to go to a show from the Midnight. There have been moments where I almost did go to a concert and got tickets, but I probably ended up getting a cold and couldn't get the tickets or go.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That's okay. I know that there will be more opportunities for me to see them.
Oh, for sure. But that's the beautiful part about live music is each performance is its own unique thing. Like even if
Yes.
they're playing the exact same set, it's still a unique experience.
Oh, I usually end up with like not enough energy to be around so many people. I'm just like, I really don't want to be around people right now, and then I just won't go. That's definitely a part of it.
See, this is why you got to move to the West Coast so people can drag you and be like, no, you just come. We can leave early, but go.
Exactly, that's what it's got to be, you know. But yeah, I did go to a concert at one point for Camelot. That was years ago, and it's an alternative rock band. That is the best way to word it. But I used to be a huge fan of Camelot.
Not anymore?
I mean, I just don't listen to them as often, but I still love Camelot. It has a special place in my heart for the time that I appreciated it the most in my youth.
Talking like you're an old lady. You're 25.
I know! I have so many more years to live. I just suddenly, I looked back as if I had lived 1,000 years.
You're like, I got a break on my rental car insurance. I can rent cars now. I'm old.
Sorry, guys, it's my midlife crisis. My pre-midlife crisis.
Your quarter life crisis.
Yeah, quarter-life crisis. Of course.
Once you're 25, it's like,
Exactly.
I get the break on my insurance. I can rent cars now. I'm an adult. What else is there?
Yeah, I'm 25. I'm still extremely young, and I have a lot to look forward to, but that's the best part.
Hell yeah. And it's like you're not settling down and having children all of a sudden. So it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
got a lot of living to do.
Yes.
What does 2023 bring for you? What are you doing? What's the plans for the rest of this year? I know we're barely in it, but
Oh, goodness. I mean, I can hardly predict everything that I'm going to be doing, but I have a lot of artists that I intend to work with, a lot of projects that are in the running already. I did 3 weeks of shoots this trip, and it was nonstop. So everyone has a lot of things to look forward to, and I already have February filling up, including March. So it's full steam ahead from here once again.
are you going back to Florida to shoot, or are you going to like go home, turn around, and come right back?
Oh, of course, I'll be going back to Florida and then coming back to LA, and Florida and LA, it just goes back and forth.
Are you at least racking up frequent flyer miles?
Yes.
Good shit.
Yes.
I hope it's on airlines that you can at least like travel internationally with.
Yes. Delta.
Hell yeah. I'm a Delta frequent flyer too. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the way to go. Because
Of course.
you'd be amazed how many people like travel all the time for this biz and don't get in the frequent flyer programs and don't maximize that shit. Like, I'm still taking free trips like on my miles.
Oh my goodness. Of course. I mean, it's just so useful.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna have to do the flying anyways, you might as well get a vacation out of it for free eventually.
Indeed.
Is there anywhere you want to go in free time when you?
Man.
I was just there.
Really? Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous of you. I'm hoping to take a trip to Europe over the summer. I don't know how that's going to work, but
So you should go to Japan now. The dollar's very strong versus the yen at the moment.
don't tease me like that.
I'm not teasing you. I'm just telling you the truth.
I know, but now that's going to make me want to go to Japan, and I'm never going to unless I have enough time to plan.
Make the plan. Oh, seriously, I burned miles, but if I had spent money to go, my flight would have been under 700 round trip.
Oh my goodness.
My Airbnb was 400 for a week.
Don't tempt me. 'Cause
She's pulling out her phone. She's like, look at Delta right now.
Yes.
They only reopened U.S. tourism back in October.
It was official in October because I looked up.
October 22nd.
Oh.
And I went at the end of November.
Okay. That's cool because I'd been told that you could only go with a tour guide or dedicated tour guidance.
As of October 22nd, you could just go.
Oh my goodness. You
I just fucked up your whole plans for the year. I get it.
I know, and yet I'm so excited.
This is my third time going to Tokyo, so sorry, audience. Sorry. Yeah, the minute they reopened, I'm like, okay, how much are flights? Oh shit, flights are like that cheap? Yeah, I burned miles. I went. Initially I was like, I'm gonna burn hotel points and do the whole trip for free, but then the amount of points required to stay at a Japanese hotel was like, I'll use the points elsewhere. I'll get an Airbnb for a week.
It's so wow. You've got to be kidding me.
What is it right now?
$660. That's insane. Yeah. Round trip $660.
Probably cost you more to get back to Florida.
No. But
Close.
yeah, close. Close. Oh my goodness.
And on top of that,
Also, it's so much cheaper to fly from LA than from the East Coast. It costs double, if not triple, in the East Coast versus West Coast. So
Right.
I feel very, very grateful that I can just hop from one place to the next.
dirt cheap right now. And right now, the last I checked, it's like 130, 140 yen to the dollar.
Wow.
And previous times there was 100 yen to the dollar. So like things are 30 to 40% off. They don't have the massive inflation that we do. Things were pretty much the same price in yen as they were when I was there in 2016.
Wow.
I went out for conveyor belt sushi 2 times and gorged myself on sushi.
Goodness. I've always wanted to go to Michelin star sushi restaurants in Tokyo. Ah.
Now's the time to go. It's all on sale.
Oh my goodness. All of Tokyo is now on sale.
It really is. It really is. I'm like, my audience is probably sick of me hearing me talk about it, but
I love how we've just gone on this tangent into Tokyo, but I'm so in love with it.
when we get off air, I'll have to. I spent most of the trip like doing street photography because I went by myself.
Wow.
I did 2 podcasts while I was there, but I also did a lot, like just walked around and did street photography.
I should do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, well now I'm gonna have to plan a trip to Tokyo. That's your fault, but thank you.
You're welcome. Like that is one thing I'll happily take fault for. Like 100%. That is the only place on the planet that I've gone to internationally multiple times because it is my fucking happy place.
One of the places that I've always wanted to go to is Japan. Particularly, I've always wanted to go on a tour of the shrines of Japan. I've always wanted to see their traditional shrines, to walk under the red gates. It's just, it would be so amazing.
You should do it then. You should fucking do it.
Yes.
And you're lucky that you have no tattoos, so you can go to an onsen if you want.
Yes, I could go to an onsen without looking like a gang member.
Oh no, they won't let you in.
Yes, you would be considered Yakuza.
Oh, I know. Oh
my goodness. What happened?
Oh, the first trip I was there with my tattoo artist who has face and neck tattoos. I didn't cover up.
Oh no.
We were refused service in a lot of places.
Oh my goodness.
And everyone was so polite about it. We just were like, oh, we had done something wrong. But it's, legitimately refused service. It was fine. I know what's up. I knew it was a thing before I went the first time. I didn't realize how much of a thing it was. Like on the second trip, one of my buddies went and got a day pass to a gym, and he had to like sign an affidavit that he had no tattoos.
Wow.
Like it's that much of a thing.
That's amazing. I mean, wild, but
It's just their culture. And like everyone's like, they gotta know you're not Yakuza. You're obviously American. I'm like, yeah, but if all you know is your culture, and in your culture, tattoos mean you're a criminal, they probably just assume we're American criminals.
Exactly.
Except the Ritz-Carlton, because on the second trip I stayed at the Ritz, and people were just asking what band we were in.
It is kind of funny. Sometimes when you visit other cultures, people assume, I think they think that all Americans look the same, and so they assume that we're in a band or we're celebrities. I experienced that when I went to Ireland. Everyone was very friendly, but they were like, do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah, they masturbated to you. Duh. Like,
No!
I mean, shouldn't that be a yes?
Yes! But also, I mean, like, I wasn't really well known back then. I was still a cam girl when I went to Ireland, so
Yeah, didn't you have
wouldn't
like
known me.
4 million views as a cam girl? That's
It was a lot of views still, but
what is the population of Ireland? I mean, like, there's only 5 million people in Ireland.
oh god.
There's only 5 million. So, it's possible the entire island had jerked off to you at some point. And by the numbers now, they definitely have. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't children named Leanna now, directly because of you.
Oh gosh. Well, that's interesting. I never actually thought about it that way. I mean, after going to AVN, I've definitely considered the amount of influence that I've had in people's lives, but I've never considered exactly what that meant.
But yeah, you could be like a top baby name like Khaleesi or some shit.
Oh, geez, no. I would prefer not to become a baby name. I mean, like, I think it would be cute to have, like, their bunch of people, but, the idea of being named after it feels like a little bit too cultish, you know?
I mean, you're not the one making the decision. They are.
That's true.
You're not encouraging this. You're not like, name your children after me. Do it. Jerk off and name your children after me. And then in future generations, they will jerk off to me too. Jerk off to your namesake.
The eternal porn empire. There we go.
There you go. There's the name of your business. The eternal porn empire. So it makes sense that people in Ireland recognized you. There's only 5 million of them.
To be completely honest, I don't think that they recognized me from porn. I think that they thought that they recognized me from something that they saw on TV. I really do think that.
I mean, that's entirely possible too. Well, it's also because a lot of Americans don't leave fucking America.
Exactly.
Which is honestly one of the biggest problems with America. I feel like if more Americans traveled abroad and didn't just go to fucking resorts and cruises and shit like that, they would have more empathy for other people on this fucking planet.
Absolutely. I think that seeing the world gives you new perspective and allows you to feel different things in consideration of the other people around you.
And also takes you out of your comfort zone a little bit. There's something a little nerve-wracking about being in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you don't understand how the money works, and figuring it out.
Exactly. Also, I apologize because I tend to be a philosophical drunk. If I do get inebriated, I just tend to be more elaborate because I feel like it compensates for the alcohol.
You never have to apologize for anything you do on this show. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to tell you that. There's no need to apologize.
I know. I'm always going to say it. It's just a force of habit.
And I'm always going to tell you don't need to.
Also, what is the meaning of your Arby's hat? It just says nothing on it, but I know it's Arby's.
It's a comedy Twitter account called Nihilist Arby's.
Oh! This is great. I can't believe they made a hat like that. And that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous Twitter account. Absolutely ridiculous. I wear this hat all the time because I'm a big fan of the account.
My favorite Twitter account is actually Satan.
At Satan?
It's just Satan, yeah. They pretend to be Satan and they post amazing things. Can I use a reference?
Of course.
Okay, so I saw this tweet recently. They posted a picture of an Instagram post, and it says, Maddie and Grant Trout talk about sex after fight. We look Satan right in the eyes and fight for what he tried to tear apart. And Satan replies, why do they have to make me watch? I find the Twitter account particularly amusing.
To give you a taste of Nihilist Arby's.
Yes.
This Martin Luther King Jr. Day, force yourself to once again go through the unchanging, dull, soul-crushing routine that passes for your life, while across town, the CIA assassinates your hunger. Have a dream of Arby's.
You know what's really funny? Arby's ads were intentionally made to be sexual.
Really?
Yes. If you even think about the quote, Arby's, we have the meats. It suddenly makes sense, right? And their primary ads in the very beginning were of these strong construction workers after a long day, sweat just going through their t-shirts, and then they all gather around, and it's about the length of their dicks in correlation to the length of their sandwiches. So Arby's has always had a play on sexual reference.
I mean, I've definitely heard of women's genitalia being referred to as an Arby's sandwich before, too.
Unfortunately, it can be used interchangeably.
Some beef curtains down there. It happens. Not to shame anyone. It's just things I've heard in reference in my youth. I've been around some uncouth people in my time.
Anatomical diversity is just a part of the fact of life.
Well, yeah, if there wasn't, we'd all be inbred.
Oh, God. That would be terrifying.
I mean, we wouldn't know any better. We'd be inbred.
Exactly.
I mean, royals did it in Europe for centuries.
They thought that it made them even more perfect, which is the worst part about it because the further down the line they just got more and more birth defects.
Yeah. And led to people with, they probably shouldn't have been leading people.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have fantastic sexual diversity.
Well, none of us are royals.
Now, exactly.
I still don't think I am.
You never know.
Have you done a genealogy test? Do you come from royalty, Leanna?
I choked on myself. I do not come from royalty.
You sure?
I come from a history of islanders from my mother's side because my mom is Puerto Rican. My father's side of the family, I'm not sure. But after looking at my current line, I don't think that I have any royalty in my bloodline.
Well, I mean, just coming from Puerto Rico, your family could be, there's could be a branch of like some Spanish royalty in there.
That's true.
The Spanish did like to fuck the natives.
Yes.
British are like, we just killed them. The Spanish are like, we fucked them. Then we killed them.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Latin countries are wild. It's how diverse they are. It's like, I've been to Cuba, and that was a just a wildly diverse place. It's like, oh, yeah, they're definitely Afro-Cubans, and like, they're just Cubans.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just what it is. The skin color of my family is extremely diverse. I mean, we go all the way from pitch black to pure white. And I think that it's really awesome. We have over 100 members and on my mother's side of the family.
Jesus, they like to fuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I have 7 uncles, and they all have kids. And an aunt. And, it's so much. And they all had kids who are having kids. And from my mom's side, there's actually 2 grandpas and 2 grandmas. Just from my mom's side. So it's a big family.
Do you ever want one for yourself?
Do I want a family for myself?
Well, like children, not you have a family.
You know what? It used to be my dream. I thought that it would be amazing to save up a huge amount of money and buy like a 3-story house. And I imagined that in this 3-story house, I would make it a safe haven for runaway kids. That was my dream. I thought, I even drew a little map of it. And for some reason, I added an archery field. I think I was just very imaginative. That would be probably a little bit.
Yeah, you don't want to give runaways bows and arrows. Like,
yeah, no, don't give kids bows and arrows.
Oh no, give kids traumatized runaways. Maybe not so much.
But yeah, so I thought about having a large safe haven home for runaway children or children in need.
But no biological ones of your own?
No biological ones. I'm so tiny and frail. I don't think I could push a baby out, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure medical science says otherwise.
I'm sure, but I personally don't believe it would be possible.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
But yeah, I don't think that I would try. It's just, it's not in my preference. I think that babies are very cute, but yeah, I don't think that childbirth would be for me.
And that's okay. And that's actually good. Like, more women should be like, hey, it's okay for me not to have children.
I've always loved the idea of adopting, though. And, having a safe house. To me, that was the alternative, Why be a mother to one when you could be a mother to many?
I hate to break it. You have a lot of sex. You could be a mother to many. You could.
I don't think that's possible. If I was a guy, that would make sense. But as a girl...
I mean, it would take a little while. But you could do it.
Yes. Well, you know what? Oh gosh, my imagination just runs rampant in the late parts of the night, and I suddenly thought about how tortoises can hold sperm inside them for up to 80 years after sex. So 80 years after copulation, they still reserve that sperm inside of them and can have children past that point. So suddenly I thought, if everyone that I ever had sex with, right, and I was able to reserve all of that for 80 years, that would be terrifying.
So, I mean, I just had like a cold sweat about like child support payments from like 25 years ago. Like, oh God. I've definitely had some people I don't want to be. I've had sex with some people I definitely don't want to be attached to for the rest of my life. And like, if they could just store my load and then be like, yeah, today's the day I get knocked up. Boom.
Yeah, no, that would be terrifying. I can't believe tortoises are even capable of that kind of storage. How do they even keep it fresh after 80 years? That is insane.
I'm assuming it's inside them and they just, have a pocket.
Oh, yeah, like maybe there's like a little microwave, a little sperm heater, just dedicated to keeping it ready at all times, I guess.
Well, the question is like, does that pocket fill up? Like, if they have multiple partners, like, how do they differentiate? Be like, the guy from 71 years ago, he's the one.
Yes, right. You know what? It actually reminds me of horseshoe crabs. So most horseshoe crabs end up having orgies. And this happens because it is, gangbangs. It's gangbangs when it comes to horseshoe crabs. Because it is mainly one female and another male, and then all of the other males surrounding that female, we refer to as satellites because they're surrounding the female. And I remember I was walking on an isolated beach in the middle of nowhere, on an island far away from any sort of form of human population. And I was counting mating horseshoe crab pairs. And I noticed that on average, out of every single mating pair that I counted, there were at least 4 males for every female. And apparently it is believed by scientists that they all contribute sperm to the end product, which is very strange.
That's definitely weird.
Yeah, but they go in one by one like an actual gangbang, and that's how you know that horseshoe crabs are kinky.
Fun fact I don't know if you're aware of. You know why men have a ridge on, like, to have a head of their penis, right?
To scoop cum out. I learned that several days ago. Apparently someone else had told me that.
Someone's beating me to my weird science facts.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize!
I retained so many science facts. It was inevitable.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey. Yeah, I guess, like, evolutionarily wise, like, yeah, I'll take sloppy seconds. It doesn't matter. I'll just scoop your shit right out.
Competition and evolution at its finest.
It's weird to think that, like, we evolved that because...
Right? Yeah, imagine smooth dick. Just no head, just smooth penis.
Well, I mean, women definitely masturbate with something like that at times.
That's true. That's true. The little vibrators that are entirely smooth.
I've been led to believe it's not quite as good as the real thing.
And some people have larger tips. They're referred to as mushroom tips. And you'd have to suspect that that was an end product of competition, because the larger the head, and especially the larger the ridge, the more likely that they would be able to continue in their line.
So they got cuckolded a lot, and they're like, we're going to do something about this. Our line must go on.
Yes.
We as just dumb animals have made it to this point.
I know. It's insane, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, utterly insane.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
The crazy part is we may be on the decline. This may be like towards our swan song in the grand scheme of things.
I don't think so.
I mean, some scientists predict that we only have about 9,000 years left as a species.
9,000 years is a lot in the grand scheme of things, though, and I'm sure, I mean, if you looked at the 1950s compared to 2023, you'll see just how much we've progressed as a society. And I mean, life of the 1950s would be unimaginable today. I think that we'll find a way to continue. You know, there are always going to be doomsday theorists and people that have the idea that we're going to run out of our resources by the time that society moves on. Years ago, people believed that we wouldn't have enough resources to sustain the amount of population that we have on Earth nowadays. But we created the science that allowed us to grow even more crops, genetically modified organisms that are able to sustain our population. And it
Yeah,
works
but
out.
there's parts of the world where that's not reality. There's definitely parts of the world where,
Oh, that's true. That's absolutely true. But I think that, you know, over time, those things can change. I mean, in 9,000 years, that's enough time for anything to happen.
yeah. I mean, I plan to be here to see it. Actually, that's the terrifying part. It's like, oh, even if you could survive that long, there'd be evolution in humans and you would just be last year's model.
I don't think that's what it would be.
We are so much bigger than our ancestors from the Civil War era, just because of better nutrition and shit like that.
Hmm.
Like, have you ever like gone to a museum and saw like this average size of like a Civil War uniform? Like those were tiny people.
Yeah.
Well, just think how much smaller and inferior you would be to our ancestors from 9,000 years in the future. As the genetically modified crops bring better nutrition to them, and we cure things or genetically modify things to
I
be.
don't know. You know what? It could end up like Wall-E.
Well, yeah, they're much bigger too.
Yeah. But it's a different form.
One thing what was very unrealistic about one of those, they weren't all staring at smartphones the whole time.
But they were staring at their little hollow pad screens all the time, which did happen a lot. And they mostly hardly ever had sex. That was a thing.
Well,
People
that's
were so obsessed with the screens on their little chairs that they never had to leave. So part of that, you know,
we
makes
can't have that. You'll be out of a job.
I know, right? I'm suck.
Well, and it's crazy because like societies like Japan are on declines on their birth rates because people aren't having sex.
Yes.
I found out on this trip like a lot of the sex work laws and stuff like that are very, very free there, and it's still it's on the decline. It's wild.
Well, you know what? There is certainly a very broad and active sexual market in Japan. I mean, really, all of the porn that's available in Japan, it's quite out there.
Well, apparently they produce twice the number of content that we do a year.
I'm not surprised at all.
There's apparently only like 70 dudes for that whole industry there.
Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So I
They're very specific on what kind of guys they like.
no, it's just dudes don't go out for the job.
Oh.
Like they're
And yet
constant.
the rate of consumption is so fast.
Yeah, but I guess people are just. It would bring shame upon their family to.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
So it's just they're constantly looking for new dick slingers.
Mm-hmm.
But sex work, apparently, everything but vaginal intercourse is perfectly legal.
Wow.
I found this out like while I was there. I interviewed Jake Edelstein.
Mm.
Do you know who that is?
No.
He's the author of Tokyo Vice. He's an American expat who wrote for Japan's largest newspaper for 12 years, covering like vice and crime.
Wow.
And I had him on the show, and we had a very in-depth talk about sex work and porn in Japan. And it was like I had no clue. Like I knew sex work was readily available, but I didn't realize it was actually legal. Like there are definitely, especially like one of my favorite bars in Tokyo is in like kind of the red light district, and you'll get solicited for massages and shit like that as you walk to the bar.
Wow.
And I just assumed it was like, an open secret that, just wasn't enforced. It's like, oh, no. As long as there's not vaginal intercourse, perfectly legal. Had no clue.
Wild.
A lot of it's not open to foreigners, but
Makes sense.
makes perfect sense. And for that culture, it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I want to, like, actually go, they do an equivalent of ABN in Japan. I actually want to go to their fucking adult entertainment
That's
expo.
amazing. I never would have thought.
Yeah, apparently they do, and I would love to go there and cover it.
I would love to get involved with the Japanese porn industry. I think that it would be so much fun.
I believe Melanie Marks did some shooting over there recently. You should reach out to her and
Yeah.
ask her who her contacts were. I'm sure they would love you over there.
It would be, yes, I believe so.
Cute little white girl has got to be like right up there, right up their alley. And then you could maybe get an all expenses paid trip to Japan,
There we go. That would be even better.
right? I mean, it's cheap right now, but you know, if someone else is paying it, even better. It's still weird that they still blur out the genitals.
And buttholes.
That's a
Buttholes?
genital.
Oh, sorry, yes. Sorry. Every time I hear genitals, I think of the vagina or the penis. I never actually think of the butt. I just think of excretory functions, and I don't actually think, oh, yes, it's a genital, I suppose.
Things go in there.
Yeah,
I've been led to believe.
they're holes.
It's a hole that gets used. I've been led to believe,
Yeah.
which was explained to me as Japan does things one of two ways. This is how we've always done it, or it's never been done. And blurring out genitals is just this is how we've always done it.
Yeah. And it's so funny looking at hentai manga, especially because they'll usually blur like the cleft. They'll just blur the little bits, like right the ridge under the head of the penis, and that's the part that they blur out. And that counts as censorship.
That's why tentacle porn became a thing to circumvent the censorship laws.
Yeah. And of course, there is also a soda named after that known as a tentacle grape. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a very obvious reference, I know. And yet it is in a genuine soda flavor sold in Japan.
I've definitely never seen it there.
Yeah. I don't think it would be a very popular one.
You never know.
That's true. That's true.
I'm sure if I went searching in Akabara, you know,
You might find it.
I gotta go back again.
It's so large despite its size. It's just so expansive. There would be so many things to see. But I get so dismayed thinking about any kind of trip to Japan because I know I wouldn't be able to see or achieve everything that I'd want to in one trip. It would have to be several trips.
More reason to go back.
Yes.
That's why I keep going back. I've never made it out of Tokyo. I've been there 3 times. I've never made it out of Tokyo because there's just so much going on in Tokyo.
I've always wanted to see the Cherry Blossom Festival. I've always wanted to see their summer festivals. I want to know what their winter festivals look like. And of course, there's also a penis festival, which I think would just be very amusing. People carry around like a gigantic wooden penis. I just think that's so amusing.
I think that's in not in Tokyo proper. I think that's in one of the other provinces.
Yes. There's also a penis shrine where there are a ton of penises. And the story behind that is that there was a woman who was virgin. And she was waiting for her partner who was a fisherman, and she was standing on the rocks waiting for him to return home from his trip. But by the time that he got back, the water had already rushed over the rocks and she had drowned. And people began experiencing a form of famine where the fishermen were not picking up any fish. Well, one day, a fisherman goes out to the beach and he pees into the ocean. And then he goes fishing and he catches a huge amount of fish. And they believed that they had been cursed by a vengeful virgin spirit because she had not had sex. So they built a bunch of penis statues to satiate her virgin spirit needs.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know. So they have a whole penis shrine, and that is the story behind it. They believed that she just needed more penises.
I concur. Everyone needs more penises in their life. No, that didn't come out right.
Maybe not everybody.
Many people do. Many people are not getting enough penises in their life.
Yes.
Do you feel you're getting enough penis in your life?
Yes. Absolutely. There's no doubt that I am.
But you could be having more.
No, I don't actually think I could be having more. I have it almost every day.
But that's not every day,
That's true. Okay, it's not every single day.
right? You're not having any penis tonight. Unless you have a plan once you leave here.
Oh, goodness. No, I don't have any plans.
So, we have at least one day where you're not getting any penis. You could have more. I'm very happy you came and did the podcast instead of getting penis. I appreciate that.
Yes!
Like,
I was going to have a penis today, but it actually got rescheduled, which is even better.
well, I appreciate whoever canceled on you. That fool.
All things happen. Schedules change. There are always things that change things up.
Well, for sure. I'm just being silly.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you are getting an adequate amount of penis in your life.
Yes. I started looking at the penis temple.
Where's it located?
Let's see. I believe it's Yamaguchi. The Marakana Temple, aka the Penis Temple. That makes sense. It's pretty wild. They're just a bunch of penis statues. It is amazing.
So you should go.
And some people go to be blessed with children. Okay, that makes sense. You know, they go to the penis shrine to be blessed for fertility.
Yeah. Not everyone's just getting laid for funsies. Some people are doing it for business or whatever childbirth is.
Yes.
Suckers. I'm very firmly in the no children club, so not for me.
Fair.
I think so. I think the world's a better place without my children.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
About my children? Yes.
No, not about your children. About everyone believes that.
I should not have children. Yes. You're 100% correct.
Okay.
They funded the Kickstarter for it.
What?
Well,
There's a Kickstarter?
It was a GoFundMe, but...
Oh my goodness.
Well, I got a vasectomy last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I really did GoFundMe it. People really did contribute to me getting a vasectomy.
It's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. I filmed it.
And you sent it to your highest contributors?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel.
Oh.
On the YouTube channel. Like, it's a 2-part vlog. So besides Japan, Europe, where else do you want to go?
Hawaii.
Hawaii? Never been?
I've never been to Hawaii. I think that it would be lovely to visit.
I want to give it another chance. I was only there for like 12 hours on the way back from Japan one time.
Wow! That's a very short amount of time.
I planned a long layover. Like, oh, I could fly directly from Japan back to LA, or I could do a 12-hour layover in Hawaii. Might as well do a 12-hour layover in Hawaii. Break up the flight. See Hawaii, because I've never been.
Yeah.
But all I saw was Waikiki Beach, and it's very touristy. And I'm just like, this is still very much America. There's a Cheesecake Factory. Like,
oh no! Not the Cheesecake Factory.
right? Nothing screams American mediocrity like the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Like, we have 1,000 items. None of them are outstanding, but we have 1,000 items. They will all be way over your caloric limit for the day. Welcome to the Cheesecake Factory.
There is an item in Outback Steakhouse known as the Blooming Onion, which contains 2,100 calories on its own.
It's pretty fucking good, too.
It's amazing. I've eaten it. It's very good. Totally worth it. It's
Right?
worth the sacrifice.
Well, I'm a fat dude. Like, 2,100 calories isn't my daily caloric limit. So,
Exactly.
that and the steak, I might be over it.
Delicious. Oh gosh, now I want steak. No.
Why? Why no?
Ah, cause it's so late at night. I can't get anything at this time of.
Oh, this is LA. You definitely can. You 100% can.
Thank you.
Bossa Nova delivers steak until like 2 o'clock in the morning. That's serious. Like, it's Brazilian style, but they deliver steak till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's amazing.
So, yes, you can still get steak. There's definitely Korean barbecue spots that are open till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, I don't know why I thought that was a sound effect. Oh, I think it's because I heard it through the headphones, the sound of the siren. I was like, is that actually happening? And
Yes, that is the actual sounds of Hollywood.
Hollywood's natural ambience is just an occasional siren.
Or a homeless person screaming.
Oh my goodness.
Or both. Have you gone out for Korean barbecue since you've been here?
Yes, I have. I actually went to some Korean barbecue 5 days ago.
Which one did you hit?
Oh gosh, I'm so bad at names. I don't remember which one, but it was a very nice one.
Was it an all-you-can-eat one, or was it like a fancy one where you ordered the plates?
You order like the main dishes and it fits like 5 people.
So, yeah, I always go for the all-you-can-eat ones.
Oh, that sounds great.
They're delicious. If you want next time in town, I will take you to one.
Thank you.
I will happily take you to an all-you-can-eat Korean place. Like,
I did recently go to a mall and I went to, they had like a revolving sushi bar. It's nearby. It was amazing. I wasn't anticipating that it would be so flavorful.
conveyor belt sushi is always fun.
Yeah, and you know what? I believe that sushi in the West Coast just tastes better.
Not compared to Japan.
Okay, no, not compared to Japan. I really need to go try fish in Japan.
See, I fucked up. Like, right after I got back from Japan, one of my buddies from Chicago came into town. I'm like, why don't we go out to conveyor belt sushi here? I just did it twice in Japan. And Kara, which is a Japanese chain, has locations in the States. And I went to Kara twice while I was in Tokyo. I'm like, let's hit the one in LA. I've never been to the one in LA. It was so mediocre compared to the Japanese one and so much more expensive. It's like, oh, I didn't have a single drop of alcohol and my share was $75. In Tokyo, I pigged out. I had like 3 drinks with dinner and my cost was $35.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Oh gosh. I've loved sushi so much ever since I was small, and I would just, I mean, I'm still small, but I would still love to have sushi in Japan.
It's a thing to do. Like, even going for like conveyor belt sushi, which is not like a Michelin star thing, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Part of what's amazing about Japan is just the food's great everywhere. Like, the amount of meals that I would not say were phenomenal are like 2, and one of them was in the fucking airport because you can't count airports.
I've always wanted to go to a Japanese cafe. The ones with specialty desserts. They have anime-styled cafes where they have these beautifully decorated dessert plates with special designs that actually look like the anime characters. There's, I believe, a Kirby collaboration going on at one Japanese cafe that I forgot the name of, but it's adorable. You can order like a Kirby milkshake and it looks like Kirby and it has these amazing flavors, and I just think that's so creative and amazing. I wish that there was that much culinary diversity in the US.
I really wish it was too. Like,
I want more special desserts that look adorable and taste amazing.
well, I just want less chains.
Yeah.
It's like it's great that, you know, oh hey, if I go to this place, it'll be consistent no matter where I go.
Yeah.
But it's also a giant bummer because like it's less of an adventure.
Of course.
Oh no, I want to know, like, is this place awesome? Like, this random decor, like, lure me in with your fucking awesomeness. Like,
Yes.
not just, oh, like, Applebee's. Cool. Yay. Too much shit is cookie cutter here. Too much fucking shit. That's why I fall down rabbit holes whenever I'm in Japan, because it's like everything is different on every fucking block.
That's amazing.
Like, I'm going to bore you with some street photography once we get off air.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Please.
I will. Don't worry.
Did you take pictures of any like traditional geisha clothing?
I didn't.
Kimonos and
A lot of that's in Kyoto.
oh, Kyoto. Okay, I'll have to visit Kyoto as well.
Yeah, Kyoto's much more of like a traditional city. I just, I go deep urban and like, in Mom in Tokyo. It's just like,
I really want to visit Harajuku. I want to get all of the clothes, all of the accessories, all of the adorable outfits, and I will have to take a second carry-on bag with me.
You generally get 2 free checked bags.
Exactly. I'll just need one checked bag. I'll come back with 50 pounds of things from Japan and I'll be like, yes, I have all of these. I can die happy.
You should do it. It's cheap. It's on sale right now. It's on sale.
Yes, I've got to.
Do it.
Hopefully the price is still the same 3 months from now because that's when, like, usually you want to plan trips out 3 months out of time. So
I didn't. I literally found out that they reopened October 22nd and then went at the end of November. Like, oh, they reopened? I'm going.
That's great.
Yeah. I went with zero plan. I realized my audience has heard this, but I'm too fat for Japan these days. Well, because the one thing, like, I'm aware of, and I knew it going into it, but I didn't realize how much I've been sitting on my ass for the last 2 years. You walk a lot. Like, I walked 11 miles in the first 2 days I was there.
Wow, that's amazing.
And my legs were like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't walk this much. And like, yeah, you're right. I don't. Fuck. I loved being there, but I was in discomfort for a lot of the trip just
Oh
from
my goodness.
overexertion. I'm like, next time I go back, well, I need to get back in shape anyways, but I definitely need to like get into like a fucking treadmill routine before I go.
I would love to hike in a Japanese forest. Just going to a forest in Japan, I know that the flora would be different, and I would love to see what the trees look like in fall. I heard that they just turn a bright orange, and I want to see that over a waterfall. I don't know. I want to see something super scenic, something very magical.
Oh, you definitely will. You definitely will. Like it's just a beautiful fucking place. But on that note, before we bore my audience too much with my Japanese stories, because I will just ramble on about it, and I will happily bother you with them off air.
Thank you.
We'll last call on this motherfucker and get you off air at least so I can bother you with Japanese stories off air.
Okay.
Leana Lovings, where can they find you on the things?
You can find me on Twitter at Leana Lovings, and that's capital L's, and you can spell that as LeanaLovings. And you can find me on OnlyFans also as Leana Lovings, but all lowercase. My Instagram is the Leana Lovings, that's also all lowercase, and that's where you can find me.
Hell yeah. Support her Japan trip.
Thank you so much.
And as always, you can find me at Matt_Slayer on Twitter, Matt Slayer on Instagram, Matt F. and Slayer on Facebook, twitch.tv/Matt F. and Slayer. You can find the uncensored video versions, get them a week early at patreon.com/Matt Slayer. And you can find the podcast at And Now We Drink on Twitter, and Now We Drink _ on Instagram. And until next week, drink 'em, motherfuckers.